You're watching Suckprofessor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by
James
Delaney. Keziah Delaney. Hey, buddy. So we just watched episode 4, or fourth episode. They don't have titles or whatever. It doesn't seem like they do. And we had a great time.
Yeah,
we were hooping and hollering. This was an intense episode.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened.
It certainly did. I have not been getting bored with this show, but this one turned it up from 7 to 8. And that dial goes up to 14.
Yeah, on the incest dial, right?
On the incest, thank you. Yes, the incest dial. I have an incest dial. I love it. I wish I had a sister. These days, I'm only stuck fucking my brothers.
You can have mine.
Oh,
Wouldn't be incest then.
Oh, geez, James, this is getting horrible. Okay, what is this, the 18th century? Let's get to the review, okay? Shot by shot, detailed screenshot analysis coming up. Spoilers. That's kind of the whole point. All right, so James, here we go. Look, water. It started with bubbles, and we saw more bubbles. What is this, a Rodney Dangerfield joke?
First bath he's taken the entire series.
That's right. He's finally washing off all the ash and paint and other shit that he rubs himself with.
No, sadly, it's actually just some sort of like mental spirit walk in the water. He's not really there, I don't think.
Or was it a memory to maybe when he was in that slave ship accident or whatever? And,
whatever it is occurring in his mind, as we can see here.
Yeah. Well, there you go, flames crackling. We all relate to being drowning. Yeah. To dying underwater. Everybody's been in swimming at least once, probably.
Yeah, but you don't really want to share a room with a guy who only takes mental baths.
Mental baths? Yeah. That's how he scrubs the inside. But I'm just saying, I think that the metaphor for being kind of isolated underwater sort of makes sense for pretty much everybody. It's a pretty easy one, pretty low-hanging fruit, but it makes sense for him. He's been out in the ocean, different continents and shit, and he's kind of an alone, isolated guy. All right, so whatever. Okay, so there he is. That's
first chance he gets to take his pants off, he will go for it.
Well, that's how he dries off his bush. You got to do it in front of the fire, man. Come on, think it through. Birds warbling. We got a thing going on. People, and then all of a sudden, cluck, 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 boots. What do we got? We got soldiers heading towards the house, and of course his stepwife. Wait, no, what do they call it? Stepmother. She is. She's the target. They're after her.
So we know that the Crown is after her because they want her to sign the paperwork that's going to give everything to the Nuka Sound and the Delaney Training Corporation to them because they have a distinct interest in it.
She's got rights to half of it all, yeah.
And we also know that she's of interest to the East India Company for the same exact reason, but also by the fact that she stabbed the Duke of Richmond when she was set up at the end of the last episode.
The Duke of Richmond.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
So they have a legitimate reason to jail her or incarcerate her because of the situation they put her into.
Yes, and that was deliberate. They wanted to be able to put her into a tighter bind.
Yeah, total setup.
To manipulate her. So anyway, he comes rushing in and he pulls her up and then takes her up to this attic. I thought it was interesting that he didn't answer the door at all. Like he just knew they were going to get in, and so he just kind of burrowed deeper into the house, so he had time to talk to her.
Yeah, he should have just yelled, "I don't have pants on."
Yeah,
which would be true.
My bush isn't dry yet. Come back in 4 hours. And he starts rubbing paint on his bush. Okay, they will want you to sign the paper. So he tells her, don't give in. I'm going to tell the East India Company, and you'll be okay. Just do not give in. Do not sign. Do not hold out. Scary though. It's pretty intense, And she didn't have any time to ask questions, and the Nutcracker cast of the Nutcracker bursts in and grabs her, and they don't even. They didn't punch him or anything, so I guess.
Biggest badge I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's his. He's got quite the badge. That's because he's all right. Yeah, that's his bulletproof helmet in case the guy misses.
But they're not soldiers, but they're guards of the Crown.
Yeah, they're sent from Prince
Prinny,
which we know what that stands for. It's short for. Okay, whatever.
It's a nickname. I know that much.
Yeah, so they drag her in. There's all sorts of gross other people. She's chained up, it looks like. It's just another prisoner of some kind. Can't be nice. Prison in our modern world is terrifying, let alone prison back in this time of the year of the centuries.
It would have been greater if she was just like pumping iron.
Her?
Yeah.
Yeah, just working out, looking all buff.
Tattooing someone else.
Yeah, putting on some prison tats. So this guy's like the prison keeper. Why is Gaoler? Is that a word? Gaoler? Gaoler? Maybe I'm just making shit up in my head.
Not sure. Is it like a Diablo prison warden boss?
Like an evil prison warden guy or something. For some reason, I'm thinking of the fat, gross, bald guy that torments Tyrion Lannister.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like the simpleton guy.
Yeah, he's kind of dumb. Mohwheat or something like that. Yeah. And Tyrion gives the money. Okay, so now I'm doing reviews for a different 2-year-old show. or whatever. Okay, so they drag her and she's really scary, and he starts saying this is allocated and there's men here, and it's like, oh fuck, she's just gonna get gang raped and this is horrible.
But he starts off with a more intimidating thing, going, "Oh, pretty one, ain't she?"
Yeah, that's no good. Oh, an actress too. Oh. But then he throws her into this kind of little room here, and there's these guys. These are like business types, and suddenly she.
Well, not just any business type. It's Coop,
What's
who's the private secretary for the prince.
Right, but I mean, from her, like, so suddenly she's facing these gross prisoners, whatever the hell else, and then all of a sudden there's like these businessmen standing
their true intentions are pretty quickly revealed.
Yes, they have a more nefarious kind of crime, which is vast global economic crime, which we don't really punish.
Yeah.
we punish the petty stuff.
And we knew this guy wasn't a good guy all along, but he shows himself to be far more nefarious than we've ever seen him before.
Yeah, so no kidding. So this guy's, he sort of seemed like almost like a sympathetic character in a way, because he has to deal with really strong, willful, powerful men like the prince, the fat, gross guy, and also the leader of the gang, the East India dudes.
Yeah, and this was the guy who was sniffing the snuff stuff, which he interpreted to be cocaine.
Well, no, I never said it was cocaine. I said it seemed to be cocaine, but I don't even know if I said that. But I mean, yes, it certainly crosses your mind that that's what it is.
I think I said opium.
Well, that's only comes out of being dumb about things you snort, which everybody, when you think of snorting a drug, it's the first thing you go to is cocaine. Whereas me, I snort
sriracha sauce.
No, I drink that. I snort gummy vitamins.
Okay.
You gotta like mash them up and they turn real small, and then the gummies get stuck in your lungs, and it's like a slow release, and it's the best high you'll ever have. I've been high since I was 4 years old. So no, he does this thing where she's like almost like a really weird countdown timer of like each ribbon. So he's untying her clothing and taking her clothing off of her. She can't really fight back, but it's so nefarious. It's such a nefarious as he's sort of explaining his terms and what they're asking her to do, right? And
it's like a really perverse game of Hangman.
Yeah, Hangman. that's one with where you
guess the letters, and every time you get one wrong, you get another piece of the guy on the news.
Yeah.
But instead, he was asking her questions, but not letting her answer, and yet still undoing her dress.
Yeah,
So
I'll go with it. I like that analogy. You're there. You're pretty much on point.
But was the
jerk
whole
off motion?
Yeah, was the whole point of that to humiliate her, to weaken her?
No, it's threatening her with rape.
Right. Well, obviously
rape is a weapon.
But why would you do that? You would restrict her to the point where she's using her arms to cover her chest, and then expect her to start signing documents.
Well, they're gonna let her, if she agrees to sign the document, they're gonna let her gather her clothing up, and so she's saying, but undressing her, she's very vulnerable. She's then under threat of rape. She's just been kidnapped. I mean, this is not a fair negotiation. It's not like,
no, not really.
It's like if I try to get James to buy me a burrito, I just start taking off his clothes. No, it's horrible. It's horrible. And then she gives him this thing. I thought for a second she was going to like stab him with the pen. That thing looks like she could get it in your eye and you'd bury it in your head. They even offers to pay her $1,000, £1,000, which is a shit ton of money.
Yeah, but the other thing is that when he lays out the papers, he says, here's all the papers. Here's the one where you're going to sign over all your assets. Here's the one that acknowledges that you have signed over all the assets and the assets transfers were completed, dated for a month from now.
Yeah.
So he even has the responses all laid out. He's got absolutely everything.
Yes.
And then he says, well, your alternative is this other piece of paper, which is basically saying that you have, committed attempted murder, a crime for which you will hang.
Right.
So it's essentially sign over or die. But in spite of that, she says, I've been told to await a better offer, because that's what James told her, hold out. And she trusted in him enough to do that against the peril of being raped and murdered.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was feeling the pressure. I mean, I was like, oh, how could she not? I expected it to like something to intervene. Of course, I'm dumb. I was still surprised when even though he said what he was going to do, and it's pretty much what we expected to happen. This wife stuff about his wife being a strange fish, I didn't quite catch. Just back up a little. This one here. You're talking about, and I tell her about my day or something. I didn't know what is he going to do. Like, does she get off on? Yes, that's right. He's basically saying my wife likes that I rape girls sometimes, and I tell her about it.
Well, he said that my wife's impression of James Delaney is that he is of Satan, which she agrees.
Right.
And then goes into that whole thing, which is you could interpret it that way.
Yeah. So that was those type of scenes always make me uncomfortable. But
yeah.
And Anyway, so she holds out and she says, hold off. And then East India shows up.
And this part initially confused me because we know that there's another East India guy.
Yeah, skinny face.
Right, and I think that's Thwait. I'm not good with faces.
Yeah,
but
right.
We know that the East India Company and the Crown have been at odds lately. But we know that as of the last time that Coop met with Stuart Strange, they reached a common cause, a commonality agreement. In which case they agreed to not try and undercut one another in pursuit of Nuka Sound from James Delaney.
Under the threat that the Americans will get the full deal.
Exactly.
Basically.
So they were trying to ally themselves with one another. So I thought the fact that they were entering the room at the time was just basically being another party to the torture to coerce her into signing something. But the very next scene we see is her being released seemingly unscathed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's fairly obvious that they orchestrated her release before she could be harmed.
Yeah, well, the East Indias are afraid they're like equal entities in the British Crown.
And we find out the exact reason in the next scene.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, anyway, she's trying to leave, and then
Rocky's trainer comes up.
Rocky's trainer. You're gonna be a good fighter someday, son. Yeah, my catheter tip just fell off. But he instructed me to, so he says, yeah, you want to get home safe, and so she takes the ride and she goes home. So, but she's actually kind of like, did he say home? Oh, did he say? Was he? Well, I don't know. Maybe he said home. It wasn't
because Bryce especially has not wanted her to be in the house, and Delaney was never happy about her being there.
But he sent his guy to pick her up and get her home, and he knew that it's a nice gesture.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, go get a bath, get a shower. Let's get some Chipotle on the way. You'll feel better tomorrow. Let's sleep. Okay. All right, so then this guy's all angry. James, what does he say there?
I believe he said, did you say Chipotle?
Chipotle! Thanks for... I'm so easy to distract. I just have to hear one word I like. He's screaming and yelling. He's all fucking pissed off. Yeah. God damn it, this shit! We had common cause of fucking snakes. He's pissed about the English. He's pissed about, he is English, but, he's pissed about the British and Delaney especially. He hates that they're being played. He's really frustrated.
But really critical, though, is that how did he know that she was in the prison cell, and how did he know that the deal that she was being coerced into signing would give full and exclusive control to the Crown as opposed to a joint ownership between the Crown and East India?
I don't know. These guys have all kinds of spies and stuff, don't they?
Right, but his cohorts standing before him I believe they said something like... they were tipped off by an anonymous tipster or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And we later on find out that anonymous tipster was James Delaney.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense. He just didn't reveal
that was his way to get them to rescue Lorna.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
To play the two sides against each other.
Yes. So, yeah, and it worked.
Yeah. And he was right. It was the Crown trying to undercut East India.
Right. Totally. And so, what are we looking at there? Prince Regent has decided to decline your offer.
I believe this is a part where James is meeting with Godfrey.
Sparking a flame thing. Okay.
Yeah, so he's back in the male on-male brothel, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know what you call it. A brothel? A brothel.
Brothel, yes.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's perfect. All-guy brothel, it's called a brothel.
Yeah, so if
I put that on Twitter, man. James, put that on Twitter. Make it so. Engage. All right.
Yeah, we know from the last episode that he met Godfrey there. He has a past with Godfrey. He was in the service with him.
Yep.
And he knew that he had an inclination for this kind of lifestyle.
Yes.
So he's blackmailing him against the East India Company, agreeing not to reveal his true lifestyle to them.
He'll ruin his life if he
in exchange for information on the inner workings of the East India Company. Because he's like the secretary for them.
Yeah, he writes it all down.
So he's kind of informing him that East India is not going to offer you a monopoly, and that they know that the only use that you have to trade with the Indians of Nuka Sound is to provide them with gunpowder. And as you know, the Crown controls all the production, of gunpowder in England, and that the Crown will specifically deny you the right to purchase gunpowder, which will undercut your reason for wanting to maintain exclusivity in your trade with Nuka.
Yeah. And we're in 2 wars or something, right?
Yeah.
And that has something to do with the restriction on gunpowder. Or we learn more about that later, too, because gunpowder is a kind of a big part of this episode.
Yeah.
So then he sits down, he lays back, and so I guess he's rented one of the hooker rooms here, but he's not interested in any zippity-doo-dah. He's just sort of tired.
Yeah, but he does say something
I do my best sleeping at brothels, so I go and I lay down and I go, just talk for a little while about games, and then I'll fall asleep. Boobs. And then I dream. What? Go ahead.
But he says something like, all the people around me, deserve whatever ends they meet.
Yeah.
And Godfrey says, even me? And he goes, yes, that includes you. And I think he even calls him a half-man.
Yeah, that Okay, hold on.
Which is what people call Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but I think they're coming at it from a different angle here.
Right, but it's not a very nice thing to say if you are a man.
Well, this was an interesting...
Or if you're a woman, it's not nice either.
No, it's not nice. You should call... Everybody is a full man, all right? You full man, James? Look at you. Stand up. Turn around. I didn't read this scene as that being that aggressive. I read that because he was talking about the risks that you're putting people around you, and he's like, but it keeps his inner circle very tight. I mean, it's really only occasional acquaintances, and but I read it as like him saying he's aware of the risk, but he protects people close to him, and he kind of was saying that. But maybe I misread that. I didn't think that was extreme is super clear as what you're saying, because they were like holding hands. The guy like grabbed his hand and was like comforting him.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been friends for a very long time.
Yeah, they seem to be friends, so it seemed unbecoming of him to say something like that. So maybe I'm just, misinterpreting what he says.
Well, I don't know. It was hard to... I'm saying
that you also deserve all that comes to you by association of being a cohort with me. Cohort.
Yeah, kind of. But by that inference, he would be saying, like, everybody that he cares about also deserves negative outcomes. I don't think that's what he was saying the first time. But anyway, so obviously he's pretty comfortable enough to lay on a bed with his eyes closed, meaning like it's vulnerable and all that other stuff. So all right, well we'll have to see what happens. Okay, James, you gasp and I'll applause. Ready? Go. Yes! This concludes Theater of the Sincere. Another one? Oh, this is an interesting thing.
Yeah, this is a new guy. We haven't seen him before.
This is sort of a cabaret show, vaudevillian predecessor sort of thing. I don't know a lot about the ancient arts of entertainment, but I do know, like, in the early days of chemistry and electricity, like, there were guys that did presentations with, like, look at the spark thing, look at this bubbling liquid shit that's going to make us smoke.
Yeah, it's like early Mr. Wizard.
Early Mr. Wizard, perfect. Kind of like early Bill Nye.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he's doing this whole presentation here, and all the people are gathered around. And he's talking about how like this thing, and they don't really know what any of this shit is. I mean, chemistry was early; they still had words and stuff for it. But
he references a chemical that, with only but a few drops or agitation through motion, will cause an explosion.
Yeah,
sounds like nitroglycerin to me.
Probably some sort of He's dealing with some strong stuff, and he shakes around. And he goes, "Cover your eyes, lady." Of course, he doesn't because he's cool and tough.
Yeah. And James Delaney is there because he has an obvious interest in this.
Yes. The Royal Society chemistry lecture. The Royal Society is still a thing that goes on. They do like science lectures and stuff. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool shit in England, man. I gotta get over
the
it.
Crown Royal Society.
I want to marry a British woman. I feel like that's my jam.
Susan Boyle's available.
I dreamed the dream of time gone by. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. I'm in a weird mood. So then it goes, ow, the glass, it blows up. And he kind of, they all look away a little bit. Whenever there's glass blowing up, you're not tough if you stare at an explosion. So yeah, the dude's putting something, Mr. Chomley.
When I first saw it on the screen, I was like, oh god, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that. But it sounds like every time they say it, they're saying Chumley.
Yeah, they said they like skipped like two.
Yeah, it does not. The pronunciation they use does not sound like the phonetic that I would expect.
Maybe this is like the British version of Gloucester.
Maybe.
Because Gloucester is spelled Gloucester.
Gloucester. I happen to be from Gloucester, Virginia.
Isn't that what it is? How did I spell it?
I don't know. I blacked out.
You stopped listening because you're used to people misspelling it.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
But I wouldn't say the English version because that is theirs.
It's their word?
Yes.
Well, so is our fucking language.
Like
we stole the English language from England.
Like every county and place I'm from, Yorktown, Williamsburg, King and Queen, King William, Suffolk, Essex, is all from England.
Oh, wow. Well, you might as well call that New England.
Yeah.
Even though it's not really. It's sort of south of New England. But, all right. Well, anyway, so this chick comes in, and boy, she's got eyes. Apparently, there's some chemistry going on between these two.
Yeah, because, if you want to seduce a woman, just be a chemist. That's better than an NBA star.
Women love chemistry. And I'm not talking about the organic kind.
So apparently, she's dropped her contact lens, and he's helping her find it.
Yeah, he's helping her find it. By fucking her from behind. So they're having a nice time. That's what her husband. He's dead. Thank God. So this is good. People getting together, banging. Nothing wrong. Consensual banging. I'm a big fan. And there they go. Other than the whole dying from a disease or something, that part sucks. But he interrupts. He just comes in and he's fucking standing there. Look at this creep. Now you're both panting. I like that. That'd be a good name for a clothes store. Panting. All right, go ahead, James. Your turn.
Okay, so James Delaney, he doesn't care about the awkwardness of the scene. He even goes through this long diatribe about, how something turns to poison if it does not exit the body, and
Jizz.
yeah,
he calls it semen, which is a science
so there's
term.
an exchange between the two of them in that degree. But really, the whole reason that Delaney is there is because he wants the services of the chemist. He has a use for him.
Yeah.
And he says that he's interested in the chemical process for verification.
Want to read that out loud for me, James?
My contact fell out.
Oh, poor guy.
Oh, no.
All right, fine. It's okay to... All right, go ahead. He's tasting the coin, though. He throws a bunch of coins on
Yeah,
it.
he throws a lot of money at him, says, is it gold? But the job is verification. And when we first heard this, we were thinking to ourselves, we were thinking aloud, it's like, does he need to verify that gold is real? Does he need to verify the veracity of paperwork? Is he possibly looking for a test to prove the lineage of the child that his father left behind? But they didn't have DNA back then, of course. They didn't have taboo magic back then either.
Yeah.
But we were kind of...
Speculating.
A little speculating, and we were wrong in every turn.
Yeah, we were. Well, it should have been totally obvious, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when it came up, I was like, oh, well,
duh.
Of course.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. So that was a funny scene, though, just that a groupie came in and wanted to bang. I don't know. That's why I'm trying to be a comedian, James. So that's the only reason. It's the one and only, because you can retire on that stuff. Okay, he comes, whose house is this? Is this,
No, that's his house.
Yeah, so he's coming home from work. He's had a nice long day. But the English guys had broken in and had mussed it all up.
Right, when they arrested him, the crown soldiers.
Brace is he's concerned about the lady, but then she's an actress. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But Brace is basically saying she went straight to bed. She's good, but we got a big mess here. And then he tells, what does he do? Does he tell him to do something? He gives him some order, right? Am I making that up?
To make biscuits and gravy?
No. To make tea and toast.
Yes.
No, I don't know. See, I forget. But it's something that annoys Brace. Brace is constantly sort of like grumbling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he turns the chair back over and he goes up and he checks on her and he said I'm a weakness and he's got a drip. That's what he's talking about. There's a drip coming down here. I did like that he wants to fix it all in here. And they had... So what was the exchange they had here?
What I got out of this scene was that it was almost like he was offering to make her part of his organization. Mm-hmm. To kind of roll her into his business plan as opposed to simply sign off his side of the house to her in exchange for her side of the Nuka Sound.
Yeah.
To incorporate you into the organization.
If she's going to insist on not hiding in France.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to stay...
Yeah. Remember last episode, he did want to send her to Paris and he gave her a diamond. So I would probably be like, if you're not going to do it, then give her back my diamond.
Yeah. Give me my diamond.
Yeah.
I didn't give that money so you could stay. Give me my diamond. We're going to go buy the Nintendo Switch.
Yes. But he also reiterates for the third time in the show that he really wants the trunk of his father's things because he still believes that piece of deerskin or whatever it is that has the Nuka Sound Treaty on it is in there and he needs that.
I bet you there's bigger, more voodoo-related mystical things in that trunk that he wants. I bet there's other things that are going to be useful to the way he connects to the spirits or whatever the hell he does. I think there's more to it than just that. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I like that line. Your conspiracies have made it a very tiring day. So then, as he's leaving, he goes, "I'll fix it." He gives it one last, "I'll fix that." I like that. I like that he seems to be a caring guy.
Yeah.
I think so. All right. So
then he immediately takes his pants off.
Yeah. So he takes his pants off and enters the set of Hugo, starring Martin Scorsese. That's what it looks like. Like if Hugo never. Okay. But he just sits there in his hero lighthouse window thing and stares out at the night. At the, is that what he's looking at? Are they right on the water?
Yeah, I couldn't exactly tell who that was down there.
Maybe he's at the top of his, whatchamacallit, dock building.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I don't recall them. They would have made it clear that they're at the water.
Yeah, well, actually, no, that makes sense because remember when he first moved back into the house, the Brace was telling him how his father would go outside and build fires along the edge of the river to speak to his son from Africa. So it would serve the reason that their house is right on the riverfront.
Not necessarily, but...
Well, his father was an old man. He couldn't exactly travel that far. He was sickly. He was mad.
Absurd. These were British people. They're the toughest people on the planet. They could walk many, many, many kilometers even when they were old, especially when they were young. That's why they're so good at conquering the planet. All right, and she's just up thinking about stuff, looking at flowers or something with the rose. And, this whole
the
exchange.
Flower thing, he tells the request you were talking about before that he asked Brace to do. He says, bring her flowers.
That's right.
And she throws them out the window.
She does?
Yeah.
Oh, how did I miss that? Oh, it must have been one of those parts where I was looking at my phone.
Or maybe it happens a little later.
Yeah, possibly. nice of him to get her flowers. Brace didn't like that idea. But anyway, so then we cut to his sister, the wife of Robb Stark from Game of Thrones. And we have this whole weird exchange. This is kind of like when Harry met Sally, for anybody who likes orgasms in films. So he starts blowing smoke and dust, ash shit, and he starts rubbing his face. But she's getting into a, I guess you'd call it a wet dream. Well, more like a wet fever dream.
Basically, he psychically ghost bangs his own sister. Which I'm actually kind of glad this happened, because the whole relationship between the two of these guys, I'm not really down with. I'm from Virginia, and when you're from Virginia, from a very small area, incest is something you have to be very self-conscious about.
Is it like, do they warn students about it? Like, all right, kids, now that you're in the 4th grade, don't fuck your dad.
Well, you never know who you're related to when you're from a small area that never changes, that people never move out of, people only leave through the process of death.
True.
So it's something that you know...
Wow, you're really? So it's actually like in the consciousness of the community a little?
No, not so much.
Yeah.
But,
All right,
I mean,
fine.
for some people, I mean, it turns out, like, I do know people who were been together for a long time who found out after they produced children that they are, in fact, like, first cousins.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
That's just like, I didn't know that we weren't family.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not the same as, hey, let's go rub our birth certificates together there,
Right.
sis.
Right, but to make a long story short, I was
Yeah.
not excited to see them physically together, so doing it this way is a little bit less horrific.
Some of this Harry Potter fireplace sex, basically.
Yeah.
He's ghost banging his own sister. That's as James put it. That's him drinking something. It gets kind of gross. He's all gross and fucking covered in vacuum dust. And...
Did you get the impression that he was doing this, or that he had summoned some demon to rape her?
Rape wasn't the word I would use in this setting.
To bang someone when they're asleep?
Well, yeah, I hear you, but it didn't read that way throughout the rest of the episode. It read that she was having like a dream.
But that wasn't it. It was this episode 4, Mind Rape. It's the title.
That's not the title. Stop, James. But yeah, I mean, by that definition, definitely could kind of fit that. I mean, they have a history. Yeah, I guess.
That looks like me after I eat a funnel cake.
That's yeah, that's James. That's funny. That's what I looked like before I quit being a medicine man. So yours was better. Yours was a lot better there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was just a weird scene. She was getting into it and kind of writhing around.
But she's reciting the Lord's Prayer afterwards, which seems to kind of force him out.
I suppose, yeah, definitely.
Which means that his magic is not good.
Well, it's all... There you go. There was this weird guy, masked sort of demon dude getting it in there.
And it makes me think that it wasn't James, because you see him like a flash in a scene before this, and he's walking away and he has no mask on. Meanwhile, this guy is going at it.
Yeah. There's like, this part here.
Yeah, so James is over there. So
this
who's
is
the
the
guy?
Similar red mark he made on his face at the funeral, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like he's spirit walking in a separate dimension. Because you remember when she was writing the letters back and forth in the previous episode, and she says, let it be known that any letters that come past this date will be burned, and he was like, well, let it be known that I will visit you in your dreams.
Oh, yeah, I kind of remember that, yeah. I mean, there's sort of a forbidden love thing happening more than I'd say rape. I get what you're saying. I'm not trying to make a defense for that. It's obviously in the...
She's got the short end of the stick, though. I mean,
yeah, she didn't say I want this to happen, and then it happened. I guess. I mean, by that time it was just rape. But you're right. I mean,
this is like very close to the Cosby line.
That's all. Yeah, it's just all right. I'm correct to be uncomfortable.
Can you say taboo as
taboo?
Rudy.
Rudy. I like. Take. Tom Hardy has pretty eyes. It's not even close to being good. All right, so his her shitty ass fucking asshole husband comes in all drunk, and it looks like it's like 4 or 5 in the morning because of that light or something. And she's like, "You woke me up, man!" And she's really annoyed. His jacket's all wet, and he just gets in her face, and he's all drunk, and she tries to resist him. And this is more rapey than the other
absolutely.
stuff. Even like, yeah. So. I don't know.
Yeah, so
that guy's got it coming. He's
so she basically transitions from mind rape to physical rape. So she is not the most.
I didn't know we'd be talking
character.
about that this much this episode.
Well, it's horrible.
No, I know. I agree. You're not bringing it up either. I'm not saying you. It's just like, oh boy. Oh. All right. So what's this chick holding some? Is this where she throws it out the window?
Yeah, this is where she throws them out the window.
Why did she do that? How did I miss it? She's throwing her flowers out. That's so rude.
Yeah.
What do you think? They're bugged? Come on.
Yeah, he's got little microphones in him.
Yeah, so anyway, we got a horse guy. Now, this is a familiar location. We've seen this before. This is where his potential son lives.
Yeah, and we recognize them immediately because that, what do you call it, like a water wheel? Is that what you call it?
They call that a Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
water wheel. It's a water spinning circular wooden thing. What are those called? There's a thing for
I thought it
that.
was called a water wheel.
Water wheel works, but
That's what I've always called it.
yeah, water paddle? No,
Paddle boat. No?
it's a water mill
Well, it's a mill, yeah, because
Yeah.
it turns a grindstone. Yeah.
or something. Yeah. All right. Well, hey everybody, let us know in the comments. What is that thing
Yeah.
called?
But anyway, this is clearly the house that he paid the man who was
Yeah.
taking care of the alleged son of his father, who I still believe is actually his son, but we don't know yet.
And son of the sister,
Yes.
child of him
Yes.
and his sister. Yeah.
So he brings the chemist guy there.
Yeah. And he's like, "What are we doing here? It's my new factory."
Yeah.
So that we know they're gonna make something. They're gonna work. They're gonna
Right.
build a thing.
And I was thinking, because he starts going on and showing him, cow dung, and the guy starts eating the cow dung.
Before we get
test
to
it.
that, this scene was funny though, like where he bends over because he basically says that he provided a bunch of nitrous oxide for a party, and he's all tired. He's hungover.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was funny that he had to like stop and be like, because he basically sold whippets to a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
rich people, and then he starts eating shit. He just fucking puts it in his mouth.
Yeah, and as this was happening, I was like, how is this going to help him make a DNA test for the boy? I don't
Yeah.
quite understand this. And then he goes and starts eating pigeon crap.
Yeah. He's talking about pigeon shit, and he wants it all, man. This guy, he's really knows his stuff. And yeah, it is weird. It's like he's gonna just rub it on a stick, just pee on a stick, and if it turns two things or a smiley face, depends on. So they're putting together some sort of ingredient list here.
Yeah, I think you were
or,
saying something like maybe it's a bomb or something, and you were actually much closer than...
I was. Again, both of us should have known the whole time what it was. We
Yeah.
were too stupid to figure it out. Sorry to include.
They're building a derby car.
Yeah, yeah. They want to be each other's dads. Yeah, this is the original. They're actually the very first recipe for the very first Girl Scout cookie.
Mm-hmm. Thin Mints.
These are
the birth of the Thin Mints.
It's pigeon shit, it's wood, and cow shit, plus some hooker urine. At around fate of the pigeon would indeed have
Gunpowder.
Of course.
The very thing that he needs to trade with the Nooka tribe, the very thing the crown is denying him, the very catalyst for his monopoly. Of course, it's the one thing he needs.
The thing that's an explosive chemical
Yeah.
that he is missing, that he needs to help him with his problem, is the one thing you and I couldn't think of that he might be trying to make a chemist make.
Which makes a heck of a lot more sense than a medieval DNA test.
DNA test? Is he gonna make what is he do some sort of potion? I don't know.
Yeah, he's going to go off and find Maury Povich in the woods. And...
Yeah. So he says he's gonna take a year. He goes, but if you get me some saltpeter, I always like that word saltpeter. It just feels really old timey. Get me some ye old saltpeter. We can get it done in 4 weeks, and that's a lot better. And there's only two places. It's the guano and the East India Company at Wapping Wall. So, gee, which one is he going to do?
Yeah, but he does mention something else prior to that about almost treating or curing certain elements of the formula with human urine.
Oh, right.
And ideally human urine with traces of alcohol in it.
Yeah.
So that does surface again a little bit later
I'm
on.
guessing it's the ammonia in the urine.
Probably.
Yeah. That's how I stay drunk. I just piss in my mouth and never knock. It's great. It's great, James.
You're like Bear Grylls.
Does he do that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Does he pee directly into his mouth?
I
Or he pees into I saw him piss into a rattlesnake skin or a snake skin. He killed a snake and then peeled it in a way that the skin remained intact, so it functioned as a bladder for liquid. And then he peed in that, and then he drank his own piss out of that. But I'm talking about old school. Point it at your mouth, lean forward a little so you don't get any on your shirt, piss straight into your mouth. All right, let's keep going. So there's the next scene, and he's taking off, and he sees. I thought this whole exchange was pretty interesting with the horse. Actually,
Yeah.
I like that he pulled the horse. Great actor. I really like this horse.
Yeah, Julia Roberts has never done better.
Oh, James with a deep one from up high. Why the long face, huh, Julia? Hey, 88 inches of legs. Am I right or am I right? You know what that's a reference to?
No.
Pretty Woman. She's talked about the length of her legs.
Uh-huh.
She's going to give him a leg wrap around mother in the tub. It's pretty nice.
So Richard Gere?
Richard Gere. Yep. So anyway, the horse is like, and so he, being a man of the land and the planet, and he's connected to all things he's connected to, he's got horse whisperer, speaking of Richard Gere, horse whisperer, and he, instead of punching the horse in the face and saying, come on, fuck face, let's go, he actually listens and he senses something's up, so he gets suspicious and he starts kind of wandering around. Maybe there's somebody in this door here. So he checks the door and he's looking around, and then all of a sudden, rawr, a monster comes at him. What is it, James? We've got a fighting attack on the kale. They're going to fight all over the lettuce, and it's going to get ugly. He tries to get his thumbs into his face, and don't leave the man's arms available when you're going to beat up a guy in a top hat. You restrain the other guy's arms. It's rule number 1 of fighting.
So it's fairly obvious this is a hired thug. He's
pretty clear.
dude.
Yeah. This is not just the local forest monster.
It's not like, you can't park your wagon there. That's my parking spot.
You must answer me these questions 3.
Yeah, he was trying to back into the spot, and James Delaney pulled into it, and he's like, no.
Yeah. He took the last box of Girl Scout cookies. Yeah. Why did I go with another Girl Scout? I should have said Oreos. So anyway, James Delaney, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, big, strong, bald guy who's scary. Guess what, fuckface? You're fighting Tom Hardy, and he's going to kick your ass. Plus, he's the main actor, and it'd be weird if you killed him. That wouldn't really make it for a good show. Yeah. So we kind of expected him to survive this encounter, but also it wasn't boring.
Was it obvious to you where this man was coming from, what his motives were?
I know he has tons of enemies, so we
know he has 3 enemies.
Yeah.
And we know 2 of his enemies have suddenly got a very big incentive not to hurt him.
Yes. Was it obvious to you, though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't put it together.
So obviously it's the Americans.
Okay.
Because he signed the will saying that if anything happens to him, Nuka-Sound goes to the Americans.
Yeah. So let's get more to that later, because there's definitely a lot about the Americans coming up. But then this was the moment where he just sort of sits there, and it didn't look like he got knocked out or something, or like was dazed, but he doesn't seem to be moving around. And then the guy bonks him with this big blackjack. That's what they call these big, heavy...
it's one of the most realistic looking and painful head trauma that I've
here.
seen. Yeah, I mean, that genuinely looks horrible.
Like, you just smash someone on top of the head and blood's going to start pouring out. But if you knock them out, they're just going to sort of sit there and not move. I mean, like, real violence is very not dramatic. I mean, it's dramatic and terrible, but it's terrible because sometimes it's not dramatic. Meaning, like dying, you just sort of you just shut down, you just turn off. It's not, you don't flail around. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but this had a very realistic quality to it.
Yeah.
It was disturbing a little.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit less realistic because a head wound tends to bleed a lot, and yes, he bled a lot, but typically, from what I've seen, when someone gets cut on the forehead or in the head area, it's almost like you're blinded by the blood that's falling down into your eyes.
Are you talking about forehead cuts or head cuts? Because professional wrestlers do that thing where they cut their foreheads so that they intentionally bleed. They're very bloody, but I don't know if that's the same truth about up higher up.
You want to try it?
Yeah, hit me. Right. Hit me in the head with your blackjack, James. Hit me with that big Skechers you're wearing. James doesn't wear Skechers. He's not. You're cooler than that. Plus, he's gonna get some on the kale. Yeah. That's no good. New sauce. Okay, so the guy is all proud. Look at this gross thing here, man. It looks like we're like a bunch of flies are gonna emerge out of or something. It's nasty. So, he's out. He's knocked out. I'm thinking, shit, is he faking this? He kind of kicks him in the face a little bit, but he's pretty vulnerable. He's lucky the dude didn't stab him while he was out, or was he ever really out? Because guess what he does? He whips out his knife, the big curved velociraptor blade thing he's got, and he just starts slicing and dicing him, and he stabs him, he cuts his leg, he stabs him, he knocks him down. And this got pretty crazy. So
I was kind of worried that he was going to start muttering and start mind banging him.
Yeah, the guy starts having an orgasm. Oh yeah! Oh, this is a very conflicting emotion I'm experiencing right now. Oh, that's the spot. Yeah, and then the jizz hits James Delaney, and it knocks him backward like when Superman punches a little girl.
Why do I get you started?
Your fault. So there he goes. He's kind of got the upper hand. He picks up these hail bay things, these baling hay hook things, which are pretty scary. Mm-hmm. You ever use these things? I worked at a horse barn for a while. We had to do this one day when they brought all this fucking hay over. So like, here, take this hook and start carrying hay around. No. I did because I was a young, stupid teen.
No. I had them around the area when I was growing up, but I just pretended to be Captain Hook. I never actually did work with them.
I've done real hay baling with them. Mm-hmm. And actually, when it's done and you got a big pile of hay that's all organized and stacked up, and you're like, hey, these fucking hook things were a good move. I'm glad I didn't have to use my hands on these heavy ass bale hay things. So they're good. They're a good tool, but they also work on attackers. So he gets them on both sides, and he starts dragging them, and he's heavy, and of course he's kind of
it's like dug into each kidney.
Basically,
got to be excruciating.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty painful. Maybe hitting some bone.
And then he pulls him out and sticks him in his shoulder area to lift him up and pull him onto this.
Right there, yeah. And so this dude is he's James Delaney's little bitch right now, and he keeps looking.
The blood's starting to flow a little bit more.
Yeah, see, I think that's fine. I hear what you're saying about. I don't think they. It's because it wasn't actively pouring over his cheeks doesn't mean it wasn't somewhat realistic. I thought it was pretty realistic.
They should have had like a pump in there so it was just like spraying everywhere constantly.
Straight up. Just like squirting or going.
Yeah, like a sprinkler.
That would have been great. Of course, this guy's not feeling too good. He knows he's lost his fight here. He's pretty wounded. And James Delaney is a real badass though, man. Don't fuck with this guy. And they're, drippy blood thing. Oh, that's right. He leans in and kind of stabs him.
You can see him do a motion that looks like he's making a somewhat deep and long cut. But at this point, it doesn't reveal what he's actually done to the guy.
Right.
So when I was writing my notes, I was like, he cuts him one final time, then walks away. And the guy's seemingly still alive at the time he walks away.
Yeah.
So I was like, is he leaving a message to the Americans? Is he showing mercy to the guy after tormenting him?
Yeah.
And we find out a little bit later the exact results of this.
Correct. We totally do. Then a boy is in the house. Look at this. That's the same kid, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yep.
And he's looking at it, and who does he see? Dada!
Well, presumably...
Well, we don't know. He doesn't probably know who he is. He's probably, but James's theory is that this is his father. We don't know, but still, well, no matter what, it's fucked up when you look out your window and you see this, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. I see that and I'm like, oh, look, it's the milkman.
Oh, it's the Papa John man.
Yeah. So, trees and London, the St. Paul Square. I don't know, some sort of fucking cathedral or whatever. Yeah. There's the it's the original London house. And Waters, and there's skinny Brian Cranston reading the paper, having a good morning, giving him some stuff. And he's like surprised he knows. He goes, I can tell where I am because I own the house and I know how to be quiet in the house, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. And you had a great comment for this one.
When was the last time you set foot inside a church, sir? At his dad's funeral.
Yeah.
And he put I don't know, that's a good comment.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Not that, yeah, it was like, I don't know, a few weeks.
Yes.
It's like, I was in a church on election day.
No, I refuse to go in them.
They're nice. I like churches. They're comfortable.
No.
It's like...
if they were put like cushions in those pews, maybe I'd be more about it, but it's like, that's just uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's like courthouses and churches, make your chairs more comfortable for the love of...
Yeah, this is the modern age.
Yeah.
We are soft and spoiled people. If you want to earn our souls, you need to make us comfortable.
Yeah, I need a...
And would it fucking kill you to do some rosemary garlic Triscuits instead of these plain white ass crackers? Come on. Little cheese, maybe microwave some Tostitos with some sharp cheddar. That's always a good move. I used to do that because I was a poor hillbilly kid myself growing up on a paper plate, some fucking Tostitos with some microwave cheddar cheese.
if they passed out like pizza rolls and stuff at church, I'd go every Sunday.
Yeah. If they had a t-shirt cannon, I'd be there right now.
Yeah.
Loading the cannon and stealing it. All right, so then he's opening up his morning mail. And, I was thinking about this whole thing, too, with like the mail back in the day. Mm-hmm. Like, we're also used to having words thrown at us constantly, texting, internet, news, articles, everything, videos everywhere. But a letter in that era was a major deal. Not like, whoa, look, oh my God. But it
takes time and dedication. And
well, it fit the routine, for sure. But, like, you wrote someone a letter, that was how you caught up with people. It took you 2 months or took you a week or two or however long it took for the letter to show. It's the fact that they're even able to deliver mail. That they can do it now blows my mind. Yeah. I can't believe we have water coming out of holes in our walls. That blows my mind. And the fact that mail works. Both of those things make my mind melt.
You might want to get that wall checked.
It's gross water. It smells like raccoon piss. And it comes out of a tiny raccoon pee-pee. I have a raccoon glory hole in my wall. Oh man, I gotta get that fixed. Okay, so James, you can take over.
Okay, so the long part, not the long part, the short part of this is he gets a lot of Walmart flyers. He burns those. He gets
Bed Bath
mail.
& Beyond discount.
Yeah, and he actually criticizes Brace of having opened the mail and trying to reseal it to, confuse him.
You think he'd be more angry?
Yeah. But basically what happens is that he gets an invitation from a high socialite. and her name is Countess Musgrove.
Mm-hmm.
But my iPad autocorrect has changed it to Countless Mudgrove.
Sounds like the house you grew up in.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have said town.
Yeah.
House is a little too personal.
But apparently she's a high member of the social hierarchy in London, as Bray says. She's like 1,556 steps above you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But she has invited him to a party, a dance of sorts, and he accepts on the contention that Lorna Bowe will join him at this engagement.
Yeah. Right there. That must be it. The Countess Musgrove invites Milford. Look at this. Nice. This is some good stationery. That's like a nice wedding invitation if I ever got one.
Yeah, so you know that she is a woman of means. She has some wealth to her.
Plus, she's got so much money, she has to count it constantly. That's why they call her the Countess. Mm-hmm. She's always counting her money. And then she comes down and she's sitting there. And this was actually, if I back up a little, he paused when he saw her because he was about to explain that the Countess made her money by beguiling men of great influence. And
and he drops an F-bomb, which is not appropriate to do amongst women at that stage, himself being a servant.
Oh.
And talking with men, that's one thing, but she enters the room and he stops himself and what James Delaney says, carry on, she F's who?
Yeah. But then but the Countess got her money in a very similar way as Lorna Bowe has gained increased her status by marrying an older man.
So there's some parallels there,
Yeah, which he was hesitant to say out because it was like, which I get. And she doesn't seem to care that much either. She's just sort of like, all right, well, better than being a fucking poor actress. Mm-hmm. Or if she knows who you are in the house in the line, and there's another letter, sir, and this one came from the same post. I think that means delivery. And look, Americana. Attend. What is this? The Americans wanting a place on the seesaw. So anyway, that's where he invites her to dance. So he's got something from the Americans.
So clearly the Americans want to meet him at this engagement party and talk to him or do something to him. And he knows that he had just been nearly killed by or attacked by a man who was presumably sent by the Americans. So he has an incentive to open a dialogue with him.
Yes, or get some revenge or something. But at least it does take sort of they take a different approach. You know what? Maybe these hats went out of fashion when people started to get taller, because heights didn't really increase that much, but it's just slowly people got a little bit taller because nutrition improved. Mm-hmm. Suddenly top hats made less sense. Or maybe when Abraham Lincoln, the fucking tall, lanky guy, he was like 6'6" or something.
You think women didn't wear those hats because they had high heels?
Yeah. Yeah, because they would get stuck in the door, and then it would take the whole town had to turn out to pry them loose. So he goes into, I forget her name. Helga. And by the way, somebody pointed out that this is the actress who played Lola in Run, Lola, Run.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah. But look right here, she says, Winter said you look impressed. So that pretty much throws my Winter is a ghost theory out the door with the roses.
Oh yeah, James's kooky theory.
Yeah, so Winter's real.
Winter is real.
I give it up.
Yeah. I mean, this is Winter right there, right?
I don't think that's Winter.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it?
I think that's Autumn. No, I don't know. I mean,
I'm pretty sure.
It looks like her. But,
she'd make sense she'd be there, and that's her.
But I would have thought that if it was Winter, she'd be more excited to see Delaney.
That's not enough of a reason to conclude it's not her, because she didn't have the reaction you assumed she would have.
Well, she should have jumped up and clicked her heels and goes, "Oh, teach me magic!"
Oh, I'm here. I'm ready to accept my destiny.
I found more silver teeth.
I've been murdering men for weeks in anticipation of your arrival.
And then she just blinks and disappears.
She snorts something and goes up the fireplace. All right, so oysters smell of sex. Very true, James, I gotta say. Whenever I have sex, I whip out a bunch of oysters, and I fling them all over the place, and I scream and I yell, and then I go down and I cry in the kitchen until she leaves. Even if it's her own house, even if it's at her place. You like that? Now shut for the evening. So he tells her basically, you guys have a new job today. You're not going to be working your classic business here.
Yeah, here's a giant bag of money. You're going to go and entertain a bunch of men of my choosing.
Yeah. Now who though? Did you get? I was starting to get a little confused with some of this, because basically this
without getting too far ahead of ourselves, he needs to distract people in order to do something that he's not supposed to be doing. So I interpret it as though it's sort of like Assassin's Creed when you have the wandering courtesans, that you use them to distract the guards so you can sneak by places and take things that aren't yours. Yeah, that's right. No, it does totally make more sense. For some reason, for a second there, I just totally lost track of where these women showed up later on. But we're essentially watching Ocean's 11, the first half right now. They're kind of getting ready for a caper. Right, and if you go back 3 more times, one more to collect barrels from the Prospect of Whitney pub. So he's going to be collecting barrels of urine from a pub. And when he was making the gunpowder, or when he was talking about making the gunpowder, he said that human urine with traces of alcohol in it are ideal for the process.
Yeah.
So he's dealing with Atticus, saying, I need you to acquire these for me, put them on a ship, send them up to my factory.
Yeah, go get me some of that good old drunk piss.
And Atticus has no idea what he's talking about, but he thinks he's like either drunk or out of his mind, so he's like, could you please sign this order before you come about your wits?
Yeah. Right. Atticus is... I like that he's got the glasses on, though, so something funny about that.
He's a very contradictory person. He's like this brawling, ignorant thug on the outside by appearances, but he's actually a interesting guy on the
yeah,
inside.
Sure. Even prisoners can be poets, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
But he does. He's writing a book where he's always claiming or something about Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, all right. So they're putting together their crew. They got George Clooney. They got Val Kilmer. They got all the other Batmans. They got Adam West, and it's just like Ocean's 11, right, James? Mm-hmm. That's how that works. So
exactly. Yeah.
Here he goes. He's at entering the party, right? He comes in, or no, they haven't left yet. Right? I don't know what are these shots here, James? Let's back up.
There always seems to be, every time he's in a room, he's always like shot like leering from the back of the room. It's like every freaking time.
It's like me at all the dances I ever went to. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. So who cares? All right. So now we're on to, she's getting dressed and ready for the thing. She's rubbing a duster on her chest for some reason. I don't know what that's all about. Getting on there. I like the choker necklaces, James. Those are always worked for me for some reason. They don't choke me too much, but they, I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. So there she goes. She's off, and they're looking nice, and she's all dialed up, and he gets into the thing, and he's got his nice top hat on. Can you imagine smelling this thing, just taking it off and putting your face in there and just taking a big whiff? Ugh. So he's got more of this. So there's some more flowers. I'm totally screwing up whatever narration. So they're on their way to the thing.
One thing you did miss, though, is that the woman, the Pearl, was her name, and we wouldn't have known that had it not been for the subtitle, though. She approached him and says, "Posy for the lady," and I think he hands her one of the posy flowers, but along with it, a small handgun, a Derringer, or something like that.
Oh, I did miss that, yeah.
So she's part of his plan.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah, so you mean Lorna gets the nut. Who gets the gun?
He hands the gun to the woman who approaches him, Pearl.
Pearl. Okay. All right, that's cool. Good detail. I was probably on Twitter when that was. Okay, so they show up at the place. It's a big fancy party.
This is Countless Mudgrove's party.
Yep, Countless Mudgroves. Yeah. She's look at this. That's the asshole. That's
Thorn Geary.
Geary, and a bunch of rich people with fancy shit.
Yeah.
Just basically proving that you belong in the group.
Yeah, it's like a who's who party.
Yeah, a bunch of high society fuck faces. Not that it's wrong to be high society. Just this is what everybody does. They dress up for whatever their personal group of peers deems to be the ways that they prove and disprove status arrangements within the group hierarchy.
Yeah, where's the DJ?
I'll tell you where my DJ is, right there. Sorry, I couldn't help but notice.
Stands for D's Jugs.
D's Jugs. My double DJ. So they go in, and it's we know his arrival is going to create trouble because he's kind of this weird, doesn't belong in this world, but they let him because he's like a rich guy because his dad was a rich guy. Right. So he sort of gets. I mean, they're not going to let any old poor person just go staggering in here. They've got an announcer dude. I've never been to a party where they announce anything. That's always kooky. She announces Lorna Bow. She whispers, and then he changes to Mrs. Lorna Delaney and Mr. James Delaney. And they're like, oh, gross. That guy, ew. Is this guy wearing like a sort of a turban-ish thing, isn't it? Are they influenced, you think, by because India is like a major part of the English Empire? It
very easily could be, yeah.
It's interesting that they would bring back dress things, but it's not surprising either. Mm-hmm. There's going to be influences and stuff, and especially over so many years. Human beings are very weird animals. Judging by the horror of the face of the ladies, you are known. So yeah, I kind of like both of these two here, but I like Lorna Bow a lot. She seems to be observant and pretty cool.
And it always trips me up though, because when I was a kid, I played an adventure game called Lara Bow, so that's why I always try and call her Laura.
Lara Bow, I never even heard of that one.
She's a hard-hitting journalist detective.
You're thinking of Carmen Sandiego, my friend. And judging by his faces, I didn't quite understand that retort, but whatever. So yeah, they're just getting into the party here. We got just all kinds of shit. We got crystal things hanging from the candles. We got old ladies with fans. They didn't have air conditioning back then. So suck it. Sorry, James. Oh, my lung.
This is the
this
chemist
guy. Yeah, but this is a weird moment where he just
Yeah.
comes up and he's going, hello, 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 hello. And like, it's almost like his job there is to sort of, he's like a comedian. And sometimes parties will hire comics and stuff, and you got to go do a set. I've never done a private party, but you sort of are expected to mingle, I know, and sometimes you don't. It's stupid to do it beforehand, but it's like he's sort of the entertainment there, but his show isn't up yet, but he still kind of wanders around doing like little tricks.
It's just odd how a chemist is the entertainment.
Yeah, he's a showman though. It's sort of a thing. It's kind of like he's sort of a weird magician. Sort of that's his thing. I actually called him a magician while we were watching.
Yeah,
because I'm dumb. Not hello. That was weird too. I mean, I don't know. That whole little moment was just peculiar.
Delaney completely ignores him.
Right.
And I think she says something like, was that man that part of your delinquents or your...
Yeah, your gang or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember how she phrased it, but this guy's acting up a little bit. He sees him, and of course his wife, or his stepsister? Half-sister.
Yes.
Is there. She spots him,
Zilpha.
though. Zilpha, that's right. She spots him, and she has a flashback to moaning and her sleep.
To psychic bang time.
Yep, ghost banging. And she sees him, and she immediately like leaves, though. She's sort of like taken aback by his presence, but then as he's trying to follow through, he runs into these guys and all these hands, and it's I think this is just to represent sort of that social anxiety feeling of being overwhelmed.
Exactly. He goes through like blurry vision and...
Yeah, I mean, I don't have this exact thing, but I don't really do great at parties.
Yeah.
Unless I know people, but I'm not. There's like one of the ways introvert and extrovert are described. Have you ever heard of this? Introverts are drained by people, like they're tired after dealing with people, whereas extroverts are sort of charged up. They get energized by being around people. It doesn't mean that introverts are like become nasty. It just means that they're not. It's sort of a net loss to be in a party, and actually that's how I feel about a party. At a certain point, I'm just like, I gotta go. I'm totally tired.
That's
of
why
this.
I fall asleep on the toilet after we record these.
Yeah, it's usually why I fall asleep in my house before I go to the party, and I just don't go.
I'm not a party person either. It is draining to me.
It's tiring. It can be. I mean, I've been to plenty of parties and had fun at parties. It's not like it's always bad. It's just you hit a wall and you go, ugh. But they sort of show that with him. His is more of a psychological, because he's kind of a tortured guy. Past experiences. He's got this mystic influence thing in his head. He's
and there's a stark contrast between him being the savage man from Africa and these being the pompous aristocracy of England.
Yeah. True, yeah. And it's kind of just how he doesn't belong in that crowd.
Yeah, he's a fish out of water.
Yeah, so then she runs off, and they always have these intense little interactions, and I knew you'd come get me. Well, gee, don't you think it's weird we're both invited, huh? Any more, James? I'm sure there was more.
Well, he puts two and two together here and says that I think we have a mutual friend, the Americans, who brought us here together. It was of no coincidence.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that line, that's pretty appropriate for what's going on.
Yeah,
here.
well, he's saying, he's acknowledging that he did some magic on her and that he will come to her in the night more often.
Yeah.
Unless she wants to be spared, then spare me, that whole thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's what that is. It took me a priest had been in... Oh, so that's right. So she said she was embarrassed when she told a priest about this stuff because apparently she confessed to some kind of participating in this voodoo shit, which, scared him off, the priest. Couldn't even look at me. So she's saying that there's negative consequences to what you're doing, you asshole.
Yeah.
But they told me how to use it. Now it's a gift, and it's the devil, and that's why it's so hot. James, anything?
No. This is where what's his face comes walking right up.
The American guy.
Dumbledore.
Cholo head.
Dumbarton.
Dumbarton? Yes.
Yes, Dumbarton.
Operation Dumbo Drop. But anyway, he shows up with his accent that doesn't belong in this period, right?
Yeah.
Didn't that come up on the last episode?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pick up on that initially, but a very wise person in the comments pointed out that the loss of the British accent did not disappear overnight.
Yeah. So Americans back then probably didn't sound like Americans now.
No, I would not think so.
But it happens in certain speeds in different regions, maybe already. At least he wasn't like, hey, y'all hang, you fucking... You brother and sister, you fucking woo! LOLROTLMFAO, motherfucker! What if he did that?
I'm just picturing there's like a wide-eyed neighbor standing behind that wall right now.
Yeah. I think that guy's over there. I think he's finally lost his mind. So anyway, look at her face. Oh, shit. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
so the American is very, very, very much so aware of his inclinations toward his sister, the rumors of their relationship in the past and at the present.
Yeah.
And he's kind of playing off of that,
Yeah.
showing him just how much knowledge he has of the going-ons in London.
But then it gets to him, to Keziah saying, I knew about your guy. I was told what you did to her. Oh, no, that's the other guy saying that.
Yeah, he openly admits the information. Is like, yeah, I sent a guy to
Yeah.
kill you, and I hear what you did to him.
And now we don't have a shot of it, but damn it, it cuts to, it was really quick, and it actually finally gives us a wide shot of him kind of with his arms by that wheel thing.
Yeah, and you notice in the last scene it cut off right at his like midsection.
Right, so it was a wider shot,
Yeah.
showing more, and we finally saw what he had done, and he had gutted his stomach open, and his intestines were splayed out all over.
Yeah, which
his
is a
groin.
really nice gift to leave on the doorstep of your, you know, your brother's house. Yeah, literally your brother's house.
Well, it's his the guy he paid to. It's not his brother, right? It's his
Well, I mean, if his father.
Oh, the boy.
of the
Yeah,
child,
you're right. The
then it
boy
would
is
be his brother. But
the boy is his brother.
But
Yeah.
if my theory has any sort of water to it, then that's his son.
Well, still, no matter who, it's still screwed up that that's what he left behind. Especially in that posture, all splayed out like a milling Jesus. So hey, nice work, huh? Did you think it? You can have her. So he's saying you get to keep. I don't know. Oh, he's saying you can bring the sister or
Yeah,
Lorna.
he's still negotiating to get Nooka from James Delaney, and he was saying, you know what, we could even do something about Thorn Geary. Perhaps he takes an unfortunate stumble off of a bridge and were to die, and suddenly you can love your sister and be with him, be with her if you want to.
He calls Geary an obstacle.
Yeah, so he's basically saying part of this deal, love is now part of this deal. I'll give you the life that you always wanted. Come away from this place. I offer you safe passage.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and he knows. I think that they have the primary negotiating position here too. Like he's dealing with them. He's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't worry how we know so much. So they've got spies basically.
Yeah.
So, all right. So at least there's some negotiating and some shit going on. All right, let's keep going. So now that we've finally reached the second half of Ocean's 11, where they commit the crime and they go on the caper.
Yeah,
where these guys are running around and they throw a rope and he starts to climb up the rope. I always feel like that would be pretty tough if you're not practiced at it. If that's your first time, I'd be a little nervous. I'd probably fuck it up or something. What do you guys say?
No, but this is kind of the culmination of when he initially said to Atticus, I'm going to do a robbery.
Yes. To kind of.
And we know that what he needs is saltpeter.
Right.
And we know that saltpeter only comes from two places. And we know that he's not about to break into the bat caves of Burma.
Right. No, he's not.
So he's clearly going after the East
At the
India
Wapping
warehouse.
docks
At
or
the
something.
Wapping Wall.
Wapping Wall. And so this girl, she's one of the hookers he recruited to help with this.
That was the one that he gave the gun to.
Gave the gun to. Oh.
Name is Pearl.
Pearl. Great name for a hooker, I guess. Pearl necklace. So she tells this guard guy here that she needs to get in and she's horny and she needs a big hunky fella, and because men are dumb, I can attest for that. Because I would totally say yes to this girl. I'd be like, what? Really? Okay.
I'd have $1 for every time that happened. I would not have $1.
Yeah, I would. If I had $1 for every time it happened, I'd have to pay dollars to my. Okay, I don't know what that means. And so all of a sudden, he's getting a little mouth.
No, she just spoiled Game of Thrones for him.
Yeah, no, you ruined it. I didn't know that he was Joffrey's real dad. Yeah, well, that's what's happening. I don't know how much of this we're allowed to put on YouTube there, James.
Well, you can't really see anything.
Yeah, I know, but still, people can go.
And they're just hugging.
They're hugging. She's hugging his hot dog with her head bun. Wow, that sounded way worse than I meant. It didn't. So BJ's are fun, especially while on a boring shift. So we got, but the other dudes are getting attacked. So this is all going down. They're employing all their tools. They're employing violence. They're employing sex. They're employing ropes. They're employing deceit.
And all this is going down while James himself is still at the party.
James at the party. So he's got his alibi. This guy's getting killed, which, man, I'd rather be the BJ guy than the guy who gets his neck cut open, huh? And so there he is. But guess what?
Helga and the tiny gun appear.
The tiny gun. So this girl must have given her the gun then, right?
Probably. Either that or perhaps, being in the line of work that she's in, I would imagine Helga would have her own tiny gun.
One would assume. I've got a tiny gun in my pants. Oh, wait. Fuck. I should. Damn it. One thing that's interesting, too, in movies sometimes, where they show someone holding a gun and they shoot. This happened in Westworld. There's a scene in Casino, I think, where the guy, Joe Pesci, runs in and murders a woman, but he puts his arm around her head and then shoots her in the head, but his arm would be in the path of the bullet. if it goes through the head.
Yeah, but do you think a gun of that caliber would be able to go through a human head? I don't
Yes.
deny that it would kill you, but...
I don't know if it always would, but absolutely the cautious move would be to not have your body on the other side of his head. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Whether the caliber of the gun would work its way through a head is immaterial to, is it wise to have your arm on the other side of the head?
Maybe she watches Mythbusters.
Yeah, they're shooting pig bodies all the time and cutting shit apart. I'm not saying she's doing anything nutty. It didn't take me out of the scene. I'm only saying that because of what we're looking at right now. And yeah, more than likely that gun. A gun's good enough to kill the guy, but probably maybe whatever. It's such a non-point. She takes over though. Now he's in charge. It's that's the worst way to end a boner. I mean a beej. Well, I can think of worse ways. If someone put a gun to the girl's head and then her mouth closed. Ah! All right. I don't know why I said that. Okay, so now that shit's getting a little crazy here at the hoi polloi party. No, are they hoi polloi is good or bad? Is that rich or not rich?
It sounds rich.
I think it's not. I think hoi polloi is like rubes, poor people, beet farmers. So, but he's walking through and they capture the guy. He's just some sort of guard or whatever the hell, and they open it up. So they're getting their access that they've been wanting. But the booze is flowing. Maybe, what do you think was in this guy's bag that he was... Maybe he was distributing some sort of, probably nitrous.
Oh, very possibly.
That's probably what it was. Because he was walking around with these two big, like, cantina-y things,
yeah,
right?
we do see people laughing hysterically.
Bladders. Yeah, and they're all kind of getting loopy.
And yeah, I mean, that happens when you get drunk, too, but he did mention nitrous oxide before, and he did mention using it at parties, so it would serve the reason that he's doing that now.
I bet you that's what it was. Because there's one point up here, and we might even have a screenshot of it, I'm not sure, where he, like, rubs it on a girl's boobs real quick, like, kind of down her front.
Lorna.
Was that Lorna?
Yeah.
Okay. But
so let's just say it's filled with cocaine.
Even
That's
this old lady,
obviously what it is.
looks like she's got a dog bone tied to her neck. That's pretty kinky.
It does kind of look like that.
Kinky. Jeez, lady, calm down. What the hell? You look like you're 70. Would you just chill for a second? Get boring and die like a dignified person, like the rest of us. That's him, right?
That's when he does it to Lorna.
Yeah. He kind of touches her chest with it a little or something. But everybody's acting a little loopy. They're all getting drunk and getting fucked up, and they're having a nice time. I mean, hey, that's what life's all about, too. I'm not judging the getting drunk and fucked up part of it all. But he keeps checking his watch. He's obviously, things are going down. He wants to make sure.
Yeah, because they've kind of timed the precision of this robbery to the last minute. So I know that he's probably wondering what's going on with the...
Yeah. A lot could go wrong.
Yeah, because...
He's worried.
Yeah.
Totally. Like when I sent James to down to the rallies to pick me up a bag of fries.
Oh, it's too soon.
So look at that shot.
Rallies.
Rallies is so gross, man.
It was a great.
The only reason you liked it is because it was the closest place that sold food.
That's true.
You're like a stray cat. That's what happened. Rallies would put out a saucer of milk, and James would turn up every night at 9:30 and just lap it up, and then somebody from Rallies would try to entice him in. But as soon as they made eye contact, James would take off back to the night. But he would return the next day. So anyway, Rallies is gross. So this guy's just carrying this like bomb. He's got like this.
I wouldn't say this guy. I'd say Atticus.
Well, Atticus, yeah. He's also a guy.
And we can tell from his tattoo on his face.
That's true. He's easy to spot. That's the North Star.
Yep.
And they're like, careful now. And they're being, gentle. Cause
so it's almost like he's using the same chemical compound that the guy was entertaining guests with originally.
Yes, because he was dropping in there, and he said just a few drops.
Yeah, I mean, this one kind of burns and sparks and everything, whereas the other one just exploded. But I imagine it's something of the same, similar caliber.
It looked like he set like some kind of fuse, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what that was, sort of? And then it goes in there, and it goes...
Yeah, whatever it is, it blows a lock off the big iron door.
I wish my urine was flammable. I try every day, and I still can't achieve it. So yeah, these dudes are locked inside because the door busts open on this hangar thing where they store the gunpowder, or maybe no, it's the saltpeter. We know for sure. We don't know if the gunpowder's there.
Wouldn't really want to blow the door off of a place that stores gunpowder.
Not smart, but hey, there's only one way in. Get the saltpeter, but the guards hear something, but they're like locked in.
My name's not Peter.
Get the pepper, Dave. All right. Dave is like, okay, I'm on it.
Pepper Jack.
Are there any British people named Dave? Oh, hello, Dave. David.
Overly British to me.
David's Michelangelo had a David. It's like a good. I mean, it's like an ancient. It's like one of those names that's been around forever. It's like
David Mitchell.
David Mitchell.
He's my hero.
No idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Is it David Mitchell? I think it's David Mitchell.
I have no. You're thinking of David Muscovich.
No, I just looked it up. It is David Mitchell, and he is my favorite personality on television ever.
Who is he?
He's the funniest comedian. I identify with him on every level.
Who? Who is
David Mitchell.
He's a comedian?
You're a comedian. You should know all these guys.
Is he British?
Yes.
That's why I don't know him. The only British comedian I know of is Emo Phillips.
Who?
He's not even British. Fuck off! Think all comedians know each other. That is offensive. It's comedianist. Mm-hmm. All right, so Martinez, keep on moving. So they're in a hurry. They make their thing. They make their getaway, and it works. Just to be clear, the group of soldiers, they were barred from leaving because they had put like a big log up or a big piece of wood up against their door. Mm-hmm. I don't think I had a good shot of that. So anyway, the caper worked. They pulled it off.
Yep.
They were able to get away. Cut to the party. Things are a little bit crazy. Look at this, James. There's a thing on the thing. Most parties have like glasses. There's no Solo cups. There's no condom wrappers. Come on. There's no bags of empty boxes of rosemary and garlic Triscuits. This is not a real party. So she comes in. They're still there though, and she goes, "Oh, this must be like the ladies' bathroom, sort of freshening up room."
Yeah. So this is pretty much the scene where not James Delaney, but Lorna and Zilpha have a conversation about James Delaney, where Lorna asks her if she would be objectioning to her making an advance on James Delaney.
Yeah, would it make you wary or something like that? Or?
Would it make you?
How she phrased it?
What was it?
First, she gets her to admit that they knew each other.
Yeah, should I be wary of you if I were to make an advance on him?
Yeah, basically.
And she basically gets insulted by it and says, "No, you would not need to be wary for me because he and I share the same father."
Yeah.
So she was directly implying that she knows of her relationship with her own brother, and she wasn't pleased by that.
No civilized woman would have intentions regarding him, and we have the same father. How dare you suggest that we fucked each other even though it was the best sex of my life, and I can't stop thinking about it. But anyway, that was an interesting scene, though, I thought, though. I mean, Lorna revealed that she's got a crush. I predicted, though. You heard me,
You did say he was going to bang his stepmother.
He's going to bang his stepwife. His stepmother.
Yep.
Because I think he should. They're not related. She's an actress from Ireland or whatever the fuck. She's not like they're related. I would bang her. I would bang him. I would bang everybody. I want to bang the fat, pretty prince, man.
Way too much overuse of the word bang this episode.
That's why you're going to go out with such a bang.
Yeah.
Bang is a fun one.
Bangers and mash.
You got to be in the right... You can't... When you're dating somebody and you finally start banging, you can't be like... You can't say we're banging until like the 4th or 5th time. You don't... The first time, you can't be like, "Hey, can we bang?" "Hey, how many times I got to take you to Carl's Jr. before you let me bang you? Come on, let's go." One girl said to me once, she goes, "Hey, how about we slip a rain jacket on you and have at it?" And I wanted to marry her at that moment.
But you were at Niagara Falls?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. She wanted me to... I was wearing a barrel. I had no clothes on, and I was just a barrel. But because I had an erection, she wanted me to have a condom on, so my wee wouldn't get wet when I jumped into the water. Mm-hmm. James, his face turned into this look of regret. No, but we dated for 2 years. She was cool. She was a writer and stuff. It was, but then it ended horribly because all relationships die, and they, it's kind of like. You just suffer. It just sort of hurts to be alive sometimes. So then he's outside having a look at that, dude. Puff, 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 puff.
Babes.
Yeah, he's out there with his e-cigarette. She comes out and she's intrigued by him though, and why wouldn't she be? I mean, let's be realistic here. He's almost as handsome as Clive Owen. Mm-hmm. And look at her. She's like, "Oh, you're like a mystery guy here," and he doesn't even look at her. No, he barely acknowledges her.
Yeah, he uses the opportunity to once again request that she gives him the trunk from his father because he's a one-track mind. He knows what he wants, and he gets interrupted at some point by
Miss Curtis Underwood, Frank Underwood. Who am I thinking of? House of Cards.
I don't watch those.
Countess Musgrove, right?
Yeah.
Is that the name?
Oh, Countess Musgrove. Yeah.
That's the Countess.
Yes. But what she says right here kind of gives away who she really is.
A gentleman called Colonnade.
Yes, and that is the person that he was speaking to, him being James Delaney, to Dumbarton, saying that he wanted a connection to the Americans. And Dumbarton basically said, if you want a connection with the Americans, you need to go through Carlsbad. And then he referenced at one point, accidentally, that Carlsbad is a woman.
Yeah.
And then we postulated that Carlsbad had to be a woman who was of high means and social status,
yes.
And she fits the bill perfectly.
She does, totally, yeah. And she invites him to come in and do this dance thing, and they're going to have a fun part of this party moment here. So that, well, then we shall disappear. But he knows, and she kind of knows that he knows, and they need somewhere private to speak. So they basically need somewhere private to speak.
Yeah,
right.
It looks like she's got an air freshener around her neck.
She does. It's a pine tree scent. Yeah. It's pretty nice. If you smell it, it smells like England pine trees. It's really beautiful. She just ran out of the other one, which smells like Canadian maple syrup. And they had another one that smells like poop. I just realized how. I was.
Do you just go down roads not knowing where it's going to end?
Yeah. Yes. Every time.
And then if you don't find an end, you just poop.
Poop is always it. Sometimes I do find an end, but a lot of times I don't. I have no idea. It's all bullshit. It's all fake bullshit.
That would go very poorly for me. You know, when your eyes look like poop.
Your eyes are the color of poop. Poop. So what is that? Skull? Some sort of bird skull or whatever? So anyway.
Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a pig-headed man here too, which I thought was kind of interesting. That made me, it's like, wow, geez, the early furries there. So things are getting nutty though, and they're doing like some sort of magician thing.
Yeah, this is the magician.
He goes, normally I have a chimpanzee, but instead I'll use a gorilla, which is sort of a racist thing there because he's African. They look at him as an African, and because he's been there. And
I don't know exactly if that's where they were going with it.
Really?
I didn't pick up on
It's
that.
well known that he was in Africa and that they perceive that he's been influenced by tribal cultures.
I took it to mean like a gorilla being an unrefined, gruff,
Could be
large
that.
man.
Yeah.
I didn't see any sort of racist tendency with that.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe I'm wrong though.
And I might just be looking for it because I don't know. All right. I personally, I think people. One of the funniest tweets I've seen, and forgive me if I've said this on our show here, but someone wrote about how humans are depressed gorillas.
Pretty much.
It was a joke about God or whatever, but it's like, oh yeah, we're all just depressed gorillas. That's to me, that's a hilarious idea. All right, so we're all drunk and fucked up, and there we go. We got a guy, and he goes. So now they have this sort of Doctor Who box. Look at him. Yeah. Oh look, she only has one boob covered.
Oh, covered up.
Oh shit.
Block it.
Sorry, I hope everybody's lives weren't ruined because they saw a ceramic nipple or whatever that is. What is that?
It's a wardrobe malfunction.
Marble? More like wardrobe function. So anyway, these are the extras from the, people that got fired from the Pirates of the Caribbean. James, shut up, okay? Sometimes I gotta give myself a minute to think of it. You figured out my secret. They got fired from the Pirates of the Poop. And all right, you get in there, sir. He's weirdly compliant. He doesn't want to be center of attention. He doesn't want to do anything, but he jumps in there. I think he knows this is the only place they could be private, which is nonsense. They could obviously find someone.
And he's been looking for Carlsbad for quite a while.
Yeah, Carlsbad. And he tells her, and look at that guy. Boy, that looks like when a 4-year-old gets into his mom's makeup and doesn't know what he's doing. So he tells her, and now they finally get to talk politics. This is him saying that, Genevieve Decoux.
Yeah, he basically says he knows her true identity. She's not really Countess Musgrove.
She's an American from New Orleans. Outcome persuaded us you should be courted instead. So this is an interesting contrast between the inside the box and then the mayhem on the outside of the box. Everybody's excited, and this guy's putting on a big show. Ooh, what's in there? Keep in mind, this is old-timey British shit. They didn't have our modern, sophisticated awareness that you and I have. They haven't seen Blue's Clues. They haven't seen Saved by the Bell. They don't know how magical the world will become one day. They're impressed when someone does a fucking disappearing thumb trick. Or detachable thumb trick.
Yeah, and this scene kind of shows that the Americans, being Carlsbad in particular, is not really an ally to Delaney. Because she openly admits that she was the one who sent the giant after him, which he already kind of knew from talking to Dumbarton. Yeah. And that she would try to kill him.
Right. I'm also glad they didn't try to have sex or something. They didn't do anything like, we have to kiss and make it. It's like, all right, come on. Can't they just be two people that are talking about politics?
Yeah, and I like the way that she threatened him and he threatened her right back. I think she said something like, at all times your life is in my hands. And he goes, at all times your name is in mine.
That's right here, yeah.
Because he knows her name. Yes, right. as is your name and mine.
Which would be, like, if I tell the British who you are, you're in big trouble here. So he has something over her.
It's sort of like Rumpelstiltskin. If he says her name out loud, she flies away on a wooden spoon.
Yeah, exactly. And then, is that how he gets out? On a
wooden spoon.
Oh, man. At least he's plastic, because in case it rains or something. Get back in there, Lady Musgrove. So he climbs out, and he's not... I didn't quite get how, like, they made him not come out of the thing, because it's just, like, rotated and spun around or whatever. But whatever. What a trick anyway. Yeah, they go, you want tea? And he's like, no, where someone will kill you.
Actually, was it even her, though? Because they're still talking.
No, she came out.
Oh, she went back in. Okay.
But, like, it spun around and he wasn't revealed. He stayed back somehow. But, like, you could easily accomplish that if the people you're hiding are in on it and they know what to do. But
he
these
doesn't seem to have any incentive to be in on it.
Yeah, but somehow he wasn't like.
And there's no handlers helping them or showing them what to do.
Yeah, it's not like there's some troll back there going, hey, hello, no, you stay, you go. You are doing wonderful. Here, have a fake piece of chocolate. So what are they saying there? They basically negotiate their thing and before they are released.
Right. So they basically laid their cards on the table. He says, I know who you are, you know who I am, you know what I want,
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. Finally, he makes his connection with the Americans.
Yes, and this is I guess it's an important deal for him. And so she sees it all go down, and she's there, and yeah.
And Carlsbad even, I don't know if this is a threat to James, but she looks out and says, oh, even your sister is here, or something like that, as if to say, I know your weakness, I know how to hurt you if I need to.
I have other ways. Yeah, good point. Totally. So yeah, the party is raging. It's a real crazy kook time. This guy's getting a little too fucked up.
And that is Thorne Geary, right?
That's Geary. Yeah, look at him.
And he is way messed up.
What is this? Someone else's arm? I think so. I don't know. It's hard to. It's not his.
It's a very strange screenshot.
Yeah, we just happened to catch the wrong moment.
It almost looks like he pulled on a tablecloth and is falling backwards, or
yeah. This is a picture of me on prom night. I didn't go. I dressed up like a British lord and I jerked off in front of a bunch of party people. So they're sipping. This must be something. Maybe this is the nitrous container, right?
Maybe,
Doing some of that.
Who knows?
Whippets. They got whipped cream going around. Ready whips all over the place. Screaming.
If you go back one, is that Bilbo Baggins from
right there? Yeah. Yep, that's Bilbo Baggins, and that's a pig.
A bloody pig head.
Bloody pig head for some reason. Yes, that's Bilbo Baggins. Frodo. Where are you, my son? That's my Bilbo Baggins impression. Ian something, right? Okay, so he's freaking out. We got a big shot of boobies. Everybody loves those. And then he's just kind of going nuts, and she's sort of mortified. But he doesn't necessarily... If this happened at 8 p.m., he's creating a scene. I get the sense it's like late, like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Like I think they're all pretty on the end of the party thing, where a man screaming like crazy probably wouldn't even draw that much attention.
Yeah.
Everybody's sort of out of their mind and kisses her, and everything's going kooky.
Well, she kisses him, trying to get him to calm down and lose his focus on James Delaney. Because he's like, is he here? Is it really him? Is he made of gas? Is he a phantom beyond my eyes? And he starts feeling him and everything.
Yeah, and he just kind of stands there and takes it. And James Delaney's always in control. I kind of like that about him.
James Delaney hates this man. He has no intention of keeping him alive if he can help it.
Yeah.
And yet this man is basically just like rubbing his face or hands all over the face of a angry bear.
Yeah.
It's like any second you could kill him.
No, not smart. And a smart bear too.
Smarter than your average bear.
Smarter, totally. He'll steal his picnic basket. That's the thing about people, man. We're one-on-one, we're not that deadly, but when we work together and make bullets, we're fucking crazy violent and powerful animals, comparatively speaking. So he just like drags me. He punches him or something, right?
Well, he drags him outside and throws him to the ground.
But he doesn't just drag. He hits him first. He like incapacitates him.
Right, because he's yelling to the crowd of people that
he gains
accusing him of having relations with his wife and his sister.
Yeah, right. But he takes control. He like hits him and then kind of like it's just one of the craziest things in like a fight if you punch a guy and then like you help him lay down.
Yeah, which is kind of pointless trying to drag him outside to be more private because everyone inside sees it happen and they all gather at the doorway anyway.
Right.
So it's not like there's any witnesses who missed the
But
event.
he reoriented the scene which imposes his rules basically. Like if he just had a fight in the crowd, this way he can kind of like things can play out at a pace that's going to keep him safe, or at least lets him stay in control. Because when you're in the crowd, you don't know who else is going to be in there that's going to think this thug guy is just in there beating up one of their own. So he drags him out there and he just tells him you need some air. He's like kind of letting him decide how to escalate this if he wants to escalate it or not. But he's embarrassed.
I really thought that when he said you need some air, he was going to slit his throat.
Yeah.
Or something like that, or stab him in the gut, or something to that effect.
Blow air into his lung.
And I think
have some air.
And I think that Zilpha thought something along the same lines because she tried to put a stop to it immediately, saying James don't.
Yes.
And he starts going on, it's like, you call him James? I love that shot. That's got to be the thumbnail.
This is me dreaming. That's what I whisper James all night long in my. It's James. Yeah, James rallies. It's not good. It's not good. Rally sucks. James. You call this thing James?
Got $1 for every time I heard that.
So he freaks out. This guy's not real composed, and he's all drunk and shit. And so he yells at him, "How dare you? You dishonored me. That's it. This is what we're gonna do, asshole. I'm challenging you to a duel." I like that they just agree to the rules. Like, this is a thing. Like, you have to be like, okay, all right, we'll just do the duel at dawn, and then so like, to the death. Oh boy! And so he like looks at her, but let me back up to her. She was really shaking, like, like two of these guys, one of them's going to be killed soon. I guess that's pretty traumatic, you know.
Yeah, but we know that James Delaney is physically capable. We know that he's good with knives, but have we ever seen him with guns?
We're at the end here, by the way. Yeah, he shot a gun to interrupt the attack on Lorna Bow.
Right.
And he pointed it.
But it didn't show anything to his marksmanship. We haven't seen him hit anyone yet.
True.
And we know that gunplay is like a gentleman's sport in England at this time, and a duel is something that probably he would not have the upper hand in. One can assume. We don't know a lot about his past. That's a rash assumption.
Fair, totally fair. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a safe bet that the other guy is dangerous with a gun. That James Delaney will be in danger if they do a legit duel. Which, as far as I know, the American version is you stand back to back, you walk 10 paces, and then you turn around and you pull your gun out and you shoot each other.
In this version, you just basically scald each other with hot tea.
Yeah.
Until one guy gives in.
Yes. They actually spit crumpets and scones at each other until one of them has to go have a nap. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes down, man. I mean, is that what the duels are? I mean, I know there's versions of duel. There's no international rule of dueling like the ping pong organization or something. Or
they play Battleship.
Yeah, they do. They play Battleship. They do that thing in Children of Men where they spit ping pong balls at each other's mouths. So anyway, we'll see what happens. We got a duel.
Yep.
Him and what's his face? I don't think it's going to be a duel. I don't think James Keziah is dumb enough to just have a regular fight. He seems, it's just, I mean, he's super tough. I guess he could survive.
Well, you know how he's going to win.
How?
He's going to use his magic to keep the guy up all night being banged by demons. He'll be too exhausted to aim.
Yeah. Bang. He's going to send one of those demon bangers.
Get one last bang in.
Or he'll just take the shot on his head and just like shake it off like he did that hit from that other guy. Mm-hmm. So anyway, there you go. There's our episode. We covered it all. We did it. We didn't leave a single stone unturned. Not a single diamond has gone unpolished with our breath on our shirt. James, any thoughts, any final words? Did you like it? Are you excited about the rest of the season?
No. I thought it was a very interesting episode. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of gears went in motion. A duel. We're finally going to see Thor and Geary get killed, I assume. Uh-huh. And I do not like Thor and Geary, so...
Right. That's all. So he's going to make his own gunpowder? And then ship it to Nootka Sound? Is that the plan? Or right?
Well,
is that...
I mean, it's on the surface, it seems like what he wants to do is, he said that he wanted to trade with the tribe of Nootka Sound.
Yeah.
And the East India Company and the Crown, well, specifically the East India Company, said that if that is truly his intention, the only valuable commodity to the tribe would be gunpowder.
Yeah.
And that if that is in fact his true intention, then we can prevent him from getting gunpowder because the Crown controls the gunpowder and therefore they'll cut him off.
Right. No, I understood all that.
But is he a man who usually speaks the truth of his own intentions? Is that really what he wants to do? I don't know. Why would he, speak his mind truthfully in front of people who he knows is his enemy?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's...
For all we know, he's using the gunpowder for completely other reasons. I mean, he's going to blow up the East India Company building. I don't know.
Yeah, I see that there's probably some other use for the gunpowder in some sort of attack thing.
We do know that in we were talking about the one scene where we first saw Prinny and he was talking to Coop, and Coop was talking about the ships and the blockade. Yeah. And he said that the American ships were being supplied by other nations. Yeah. And that it would be okay because they would soon run out of gunpowder. Oh, right. And they wouldn't be able to continue the blockade. So maybe he could use the gunpowder as a trading mechanism with the Americans to bolster the blockade, and that would make more, to push the British away to gain an upper hand.
That could be it.
Who knows?
Makes sense. Why not? I'm just thinking of the logistics of getting gunpowder to Nootka Sound. Yeah. It's more like you sign off with somebody else and then they take it because that's sort of how trade works.
Amazon Prime.
Like, he's coming from England to Vancouver by boat. Or does he go through the St. Lawrence Seaway into the Great Lakes and then by land the rest of the way? Both of those journeys are incredibly long things. So I don't know. I mean, obviously they did manage to get people and shit all over the planet, so of course it worked somehow. But yeah, otherwise I was pretty compelled by this episode. I liked it.
I didn't see any ghosts.
It's not dying off. Like sometimes shows hit that sort of 4th, 5th episode, and you can realize they're starting to sort of fill out the episodes a little bit. But I felt like they advanced some of the tension between him and the guy a lot. You know, the stuff with him and Lorna is escalating, or at least with her. So it's cool. Mm-hmm. Good caper. I like a good Ocean's 11.
I hate the fact that I think my favorite show that we should have done that we didn't do because we weren't really doing this at the time, perfect for this kind of thing, would be Under the Dome.
Oh my god.
That show was so horrifically bad. It was hilarious every single week. Well, I heat watched the heck out of that.
There would be a lot to make fun of for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, how do you make fun of something that makes fun of itself so well?
You don't. That's why no one can make fun of me. I'm a fuckface. Yeah, that would have been a lot of work to do that because there's a lot of, and no, like 5, whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, well, okay, cool. Under the Dome, we would have been good. Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. Well, there you go. Thanks for liking and subscribing to our channel. Thanks for enjoying our video. I hope you, if you took a chance on a couple of yahoos you never heard of talking about some show that you're watching and you ended up getting to this very end thing, we must have done something right, or you hate us so much you couldn't pull yourself away. Either way, we appreciate your attention, and we hope that you subscribe and come back and look for other stuff like video games and other TV shows, and you're now part of our family. Everybody's going to have to wear matching dresses and will be my wives. Right, James?
Chitty chitty bang bang.
Chitty chitty bang bang.
2 extra bangs.
Oh fuck! It's a real bang fest. Pow pow! Bye everybody.